Hi traders, welcome back to another video. So for this video, I'll be teaching all of you head to toe how do you actually perform your journaling. This is one of the most essential routine to your trading success. So if you don't do a proper journaling, it's very difficult for you to study back to your past and actually find out what's the problems and how can you find solutions and fix it. So let's straight go into the workshop. A trader who doesn't do their journaling, it's impossible for them to achieve success and consistency. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by steps how do you actually do your own daily journal from the start to the end. But of course, as you get more advanced, as you have more years of experience in trading, your journaling gets a little bit simpler. But if you are just starting to do journaling, or if you do not know how to perform one, let me teach you all how to do. So the software that I'm using is again Notion. I love using Notion actually. Most of my, as you can see, goal setting, weekly game plan, journaling, night deep toppers, blah, blah, blah. Everything is based on all in Notion, and I'm using the free version as well. So first thing first, write today's date. I'll usually put it on heading 3. So first setup, let's take euro dollar as an example. Here, euro dollar. Usually I'll put a bracket and write whether if it's a positive 5-hour trade or negative, whatever. I'll just leave it here for now. Now I'll start doing my pre-trade thought process. So this is essentially just what do you think before price starts moving, or what do you do before you actually take the setup itself. So assuming we're looking to take a break and retest on euro dollar. Of course, we know the outcome is eventually heading higher, but let's take this as an example. So you can write something like this. So I love to use this this tool. I'm not sure what's the call out tool on TradingView to actually write. So you can write something like, I'm looking for a simple break and retest of the 107.50 major structure. So please be more detailed when you're doing this, because your pre-trade thought process is much more important than your post-trade thought process, because a lot of people, they have a proper thesis, they have a proper analysis, but when it comes to execution, they just seems like they can't execute the trade. They hesitated, they were in fear, they panicked, so they can't do it. So you have to make sure you write down your pre-trade thought process. So when you are going through your journal next time, going to the past, you know exactly what you're doing on that day. Maybe you're correct, but you did not execute your plan. So that could be the case as well. So this is not something that you must follow, all right? This is just an example. You can say something like, price has broken So it could be as simple as that. So take a screenshot. I recommend using at least 2 time frames. Don't just use 1 time frame. All right. So just put it here, then go to the lower time frame. That's on the 4-hour. Always start from the 4-hour, especially us as a day trader. It's not necessarily that you have to go to the daily, but I always recommend to start from the 4-hour to 1 hour to 15. So right now we see a massive sell-off candles here. So your initial thought process could be, I'm looking a simple break and retest setup. So I've written something like, I'm looking for a simple break and retest setup, of course around that 107.50 zone, but the aggressive sell-off candle seems like sellers are still intact. So this again, this is a pre-trade thought process. All right, so you could just record this, take a screenshot, go back to Notion, put it there. All right, that's usually what I do. Then right now we're waiting for the actual execution. All right, the one last screenshot I'd like to use is the trigger screenshot, as in when did I exactly take the trade. I want to record down the specific moment. Why did I take the trade? So it could be like this. Usually it's on the 15th, so we have a massive sell-off here. This is the zone, all right? This is the golden zone that we're looking to go long. So we can actually remove that as well. We have the zone there. So price formed a minor structure. You can write it down. All right, so price has formed a hidden or minor structure. It could be a signal that buyers have stepped in. So what you really want to see is whether our price going to hold above this structure or not on the lower time frame. So see it, right? So there goes, we have a bear flag, but it seems like the flag has been busted. Why did I say that? Is because bear flag usually works like this. So a lot of times, yes, sometimes price does this, then come all the way back down. If you see a massive candle like this, usually it could be a precursor that things have flipped. A lot of people actually got caught onto the sell side. Buyers are stepping back in. So right now, let's see if price is able to hold above this busted or breakout structure. So let's see. Yes, we have broken above the structure. When exactly do you want to enter? So that's the tricky part, all right? No trigger yet. All right, so if price, so right now everything is a little bit more clearer. If price is able to hold above this busted flag structure, which is right here, as you can actually see. Why do I say that this is a busted flag structure again? This is where we got a bear flag. But right now, price has broken above that bear flag, having that initial retest. See that retest here? Yep. And after the retest, we did have some reaction. That means this was the origin of that market structure shift or shift in price behavior. So next time when price comes here, if it's able to hold above it, very high chance we're going to reject that level. Also, confluence with the high time frame structure. Can you see that? Everything sort of just align itself. So let's see if we could get a trigger onto this. Beautiful. So we actually got triggered and price starts moving higher. So something like that. So we got a little bit over on this one, but just write down our thought process, right? The origin of price structure shift. If price is able to hold above this minor structure, all right, so the origin of price structure shift, if price is able to hold above this minor structure, I'll be looking for a buy limit order. All right, simple as that. Then this one could be buy limit got triggered, simple as that. Okay, so take a screenshot. That's it. So that's it for your pre-trade thought process. Some people they like to write things down here manually, but for me, I prefer leaving all the notes, all the important things onto the chart, because in that way I can better refer it. But also, if you want to add more points to your pre-trade thought process or post-trade, you can always add on here. So after you take that, remember, so pre-trade thought process, I'll put it as the first step. Second step, it goes to, usually I'll put it the strategy that I'm using. It could be a simple busted bull flag. Then of course you can add on more points to here. It could be price formed a lower time frames. All right, so it could be as simple as that. Strategy, you're using a busted bull flag, a busted bear flag. Sorry, a busted bear flag. Price formed a lower time frame, busted bear flag. Tested the breakout area, that's the breakout area, and held above it. So that's why you got your order in as a buy limit. And also, this 1.0750 structure is also aligned with the higher time frames key level. All right, remember the main reason why we take this trade is because this area aligns with the high time frame structure. Can you see that? If not, we wouldn't have spotted this zone and we start dialing down to the lower time frames. The main reason why we go into the 1 hour chart and at last the 15-minute time frame is because we spot that price is around that 4 hour key level. Therefore, we start going down to the lower time frame. We spot for precise entry, accurate entries. All right. So that's your first step. which is your pre-trade thought process. Second step is your strategy. Third step, I'll just put it here again. Nowadays, I don't do such a, how can I say, precise journal, because I know exactly what I'm looking for. Even after half a year, even if I go back to the previous half year trades, I still roughly know why did I take that trade at that point, because it's just muscle memory. Right? So third one, which is your post trade. So post trade thought process, or if you want to be a little bit more detailed, you can actually put in trade management. Trade management could be a very essential part as well. I know some of you don't usually apply one. You get in a trade, you let it run, either hit your stops or your target. But I think you need to somehow apply trade management to actually make sure your consistency is a little bit more stable, it's a little bit more steady. All right, so assuming we have our target all the way back to the high. So usually what I do after I get in at the 15-minute time frame, I like to switch up to 30-minute or 1 hour to manage the trade. I don't like to manage my setup on such a low time frame, because a lot of times you're going to get distracted, you're going to end up messing up the trade itself. So it's running. So your first level of structure is that resistance. Again, I don't know what's going to happen next. Yes, I know it went up, but we did not know how exactly did this euro dollar actually goes up, right? So this is our first minor structure. So when I'm looking at this, my first thought process is, hey, I want to see price being able to hold above it. So if it's able to hold above it, I'm happy to actually continue trailing stops and just keep it run all the way into 108, 109. What's the second level structure? You need to make sure you have all of this planned out first. So when price actually goes, and you know exactly what you're going to do. And so these are some of the scenarios that I think could be happening. So first one. Second one is price straight push into this 108.20, reverse very hard, then continue running higher. So in that way, I will still hold the trade. So the worst case scenario is this: price comes up. So I'll give you one example. The worst case scenarios that I want to see price to do is price push up, immediately come all the way back to my entry. So at that point, I'll actually be out for break even, because if it happens, it could be a what? A longer term bear flag. That's not something that I want to see. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. All right. So I'll remove all of this, see which scenario is actually on, or maybe I'll just drag it to the left. All right, then I'll put it back again. And let's see which scenario it actually is. So let's see how it goes. So it broke above the high. So according to our first plan, if it starts breaking above the high, what are we going to do? We're going to trail our stops. We're going to move it under that structure. So some of you might wonder, hey, how do you trail your stops? I would suggest you, at least if you drop down to the 15-minute time frame, trail it under candles like this, right? Because that is a confirmed swing low, right, on the lower time frame. So don't do it so tight. Some of you, I know you like to trail your stops right at that spot. You're going to get tapped out most of the time. So what I'll be doing is stops, of course, to break evens. Stops to break even, I want to see price holding above it, because the last thing I want to see, according to one of our scenarios, is price breaking above the 107.80 and immediately smash all the way back. So remember, continue. Let's see if it's going to hold. Nice, beautifully holding above it. All right, so continue to hold. See, one of the scenarios breaking above the structure, right? One is breaking above the structure. What are we going to do? We're going to trail our stops a little bit higher, because we don't want to see price come all the way back. So you need to secure yourself. So in that way, we trail our stops around there, go back to 30-minute. Why is it around here? Why is it not right under there? It's because we want to give the position a little bit more breathing room. We don't want to trail it too tight, because we might end up just mess up the entire position. All right, let's see how it's going to go. Beautiful, holding above it. So if it's holding above it, we'll trail our stops a little bit tighter, because we had our initial rejection. So some of you, if you're a little bit more aggressive, you can actually trail it under that EMAs as well. But I prefer to leave it a little bit more to run, see how it goes. Beautiful, because you see, if you trail your stops too tight, you would have gone stop down. So for this trade, we actually secure final TP. I think our stop loss was right around 20 pips, so this is a 7.7 hour trade. Again, I knew euro dollar was going to go up. Of course, we're doing backtesting, but I did not know how far could it stretch, right? That's not something that I know. So trade management, you can actually take a screenshot on all the areas that you actually trail your stops. That's what I like to do. So you can write down. So there's different ways you can do it. You can of course put it back to the replay mode and then you do it one by one. But for now, we just take an example, right? We just take an example. 1.0780. So that's what I've written. So the thing I say here was 1.0780, which is this zone here, is the first structure that I wanted to see price holding above. If price can't even hold above it, I'll be closing full trade or move stops to break even. That's what I did in the beginning, right? So as price continues to run higher, beautiful breakout and hold and held above the structure, which is 108.21. 1.0821 will be trailing my stops tighter to prevent price comes all the way back. All right, so that's our second management. So our third trail stops, you can actually put it here as well. So that's our first trail stops. Put it at the bottom. Now put it at the most right. First trail stops. Second trail stops. Third trail stops, right? So in that way, you actually have all the small little detail. So that's our final trail stops, right? So saw price, because the main reason why we trail stops under that low was because we have that nice bull strength, that nice leg, that impulse leg there. Saw price created. So saw price created this bull leg because this bull leg also break above the structure, break above this minor area. But one of the reasons why I always suggest all of you don't trail your stops a little bit too tight like this, because you would have gotten stopped out. So that's your trade management. Take a screenshot. Again, put it right there. Then you can write it down. I managed this trade utilizing trail stops technique. Did nothing about scaling in or out, purely just trail stops and let the position run. That's it. So there goes our fourth one, which is your post-trade thought process. Okay, this is right after you close the trade. What do you think about it? So again, you don't need to take a screenshot for this one, but if you want to, I'll say you can still do it. You can take multiple screenshots. The first one is on the 30-minute chart. This one we already got it on top. Then most important thing is the high time frame. So right now, because when you're managing a trade, you don't look at the 4-hour chart. You look at the 30-minute time frame. You look at the 1-hour time frame, the half-an-hour time frame. So it's important for you to make sure you go back to the high time frame and take a screenshot. So the next time when you're doing back your study, you come back and say, hey, actually my trade management on the lower time frame also align with the high time frame EMAs. So that could be the case as well. So for me, I love to take screenshots on the 1 hour because we're a day trader. We're a short-term trader. 1 hour is a little bit more relevant. So again, we got 3 screenshots here. So some of you looking at this, you might think, hey, that's very troublesome right now. But that's the reality of trading, right? We want to make sure that we record down every single information so that we can do our studying, we can do our reviewing, we can do our reflection. So for me, I write here my lower time frames, trade management technique, trail stops also align with the high time frame EMA's flow. Because if you look at the high time frame, the way we trail our stops are also aligning with the EMAs. Can you see that? We are always under that, or the only one is here, but that was because we broke above the structure. That's why we want to trail it a little bit tighter. But we have a nice management in place, and that has allowed us to hold the position all the way up, because you wouldn't want to just leave the position to run. What if it comes all the way back? Trail stops or moving your stops to break even, these are preventative measure that prevent the worst case scenario. So if you look at this, look at the way price just hold nicely above the 50 EMA. Everything's just beautiful. So you can write it down as well. 1H, all the trail stops also beautifully set under the 50 EMA. That has allowed the position to run at a full potential. So that's it for your post-trade thought process. There goes our final piece, which is your self-reflection. Overall, very satisfied with the execution, head to toe, all the way to my trade management. So I was being patient with the setup. Alright, so that's it for your final one. So hope all of you learned something new from this workshop. This is just the head to toe of how do you actually perform a proper journaling. So again, first step, your pre-trade thought process, strategy, trade management, post-trade thought process, then last one, which is self-reflection. So if you don't want to write all these bullet points, you don't want to write any notes, make sure you plot them into the chart. The most important thing about journaling are taking screenshots. So please take a lot of screenshots for 3 time frames. So in that way, you know, hey, maybe on the low time frame, I rushed my entry, but from the high time frame, I'm still aligning with the structure. So there's a lot of possibilities in the market. So that's it for the workshop. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.